Okay, so today I'm going to be doing something I've wanted to do for a long time, which is comparing stock plugins in FL Studio to paid versions of them. Now, the way we're going to be comparing them is on a scale out of 5, and they're going to be broken up into 3 different categories, which is looks, features, and just overall how interactive the plugin is, and then how it sounds. And then we'll add all of the scores up and then put them on an average out of 5. Today, we're going to be trying different delays, different compressors, and also noise gates and sound suppressors. If you guys enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also leave a comment what you guys want to see next. But anyways, let's get right into it. I will see you guys in FL. Alright, so as you guys can now see, we are in FL, and we're going to be starting with the delays. Now, for the paid plugin, I chose to do Comeback Kid. I just recently got it not too long ago, and I think it's an overall pretty good plugin. Now, when we open it up, as you guys can see, there is a lot of stuff and a lot of settings that you can mess around with. And overall, it just looks like a good plugin. Now, if we actually jump into the presets, as you guys can see, it loads up all of these, and there is a lot of presets to choose from. And just like I said before, the features and the capabilities of this plugin are pretty much endless. Now, for this one, we are going to be using the Anthony Dub Ping Pong, and we're going to turn down the feedback, turn up the ducker, and also make it a little wider. I'm actually going to turn down the feedback a little more because I've used this before, and it's a little OD when it comes to how much it actually does. Then we're going to go ahead to our mixer here, and we're going to turn it down to about 15%. Now, let's take a listen to what the paid delay sounds like.
Got you everything you ever needed, so don't say you feel defeated. Either take it or you leave it. Don't act like you don't need me, and you say you don't believe it. You outside, then come and me.
After listening to it, I will say it sounds pretty good. I love how it almost sounds like there's a little bit of chorus in the delay itself. Yeah, I give it a thumbs up. Now, in terms of looks of the plugin, I gave it a solid 3.5. Now, when it comes to the features, how interactive it is, and the capabilities of it, I gave the plugin a solid 4 out of 5. And then lastly, when it comes to sound, I also gave it a 4 out of 5. Now, some pros of this plugin is obviously the sound and the quality of it. There's also a ton of presets to choose from, and it's pretty easy to use, and it's very, very user-friendly, especially if you are a beginner with mixing. I only have one con for this plugin, and that is the price. I think I paid like almost $100 for this plugin, and I think that's a little too much for what it is, but hey, they're making a bag off it, cannot get mad. And then overall, that puts this plugin at a solid 3.8 out of 5 on the Sylatto scale. Now let's move on to the free delay. Now we're going to be opening up the free and the stock delay, which is Fruity Delay 3. Now when we open it up, as you guys can see, there's also a lot of settings to choose from and a lot of customization available. Now when it comes to presets, it's lacking quite a bit. Now I will say the Fruity Delay is pretty easy to use and user-friendly, so let's go ahead and do the same settings that we did for the Comeback Kid, which is a ping pong, turn down the level and the cutoff, take down the dry a little bit, and also make sure it's on a 1/4 beat. Same as before, we're going to turn it down to about 15%, and now let's take a listen to what the free stock delay sounds like.
Got you everything you ever needed, so don't say you feel defeated. Either take it or you leave it. Don't act like you don't need me, and you say you don't believe it. You outside, then come and me.
As you guys heard there, they do sound pretty similar, although if you have headphones on, you could tell there was no panning in the ping pong, but that also doesn't mean that it's better or worse than the paid plugin. Now, overall, this plugin is honestly amazing, but of course, it is free and included when you download FL, so of course, there's going to be some flaws. Now, for the looks of this plugin, I gave it a 3 out of 5, and for the features and how user-friendly the plugin is, I also gave it a 3 out of 5. And for the sound and overall quality of it, I gave it a 4 out of 5. Now, some pros of this plugin is how easy it is to use, and it's also right up to par with some of the paid plugins that you can get. Now, for the cons of the Fruity Delay, just like Comeback Kid, there's only one that I can really say, and it's the lack of presets in it. If you're new to mixing, although it is good to learn how everything works, for the people that just want to make music, I think it would be better if you could just choose a preset and not touch it, and all you have to do is turn it down in your mixer and you're set. And then overall, this plugin got a 3.3 out of 5 on the scale, which means the paid delay wins. Also, if you guys want any of the paid plugins, the links to them are all going to be down in the description. But yeah, let's move on. All right, so now we're going to be moving on to compressors. Now, the paid compressor we are going to be using is the CLA 3A from Waves. Now, when we open it up, as you guys can see, it's kind of boring looking, and there's only really 2 knobs that you can choose from. Now, when we go to open up the presets, there is quite a few, but they're also mostly for instruments, and there's only one Vox. Whoa, what the fuck is that? So yeah, it's already lacking a little bit in terms of capabilities. All right, so these are the settings I have the compressor at. So let's go ahead and listen to what the paid compressor sounds like.
Kissing, hugging, sex, so can't tell me you love me over text, so If your man sees that you getting laughed at, TBH, I don't see you as nothing less though.
I think it sounds pretty good, but yeah, let's move on to the stats of the Waves compressor. For the looks, I gave it a 3 out of 5 just because it's pretty dull. Now for features, I also gave it a 3 just because there's 2 knobs and some presets, but they're mostly for instruments and not vocals. And then for the sound of it, I also gave it a 3. Now for the pros, if you are a producer and you like to use instruments, I guess this compressor is more suited for that. Now for the cons, I think it's just a little overpriced for what it includes. Overall, the paid compressor gets a solid 3 out of 5. Now, let's take a look at the stock compressor that's included when you purchase FL. So yeah, it's just the fruity compressor, and when we open it up, as you can see, there's a lot more knobs to choose from and a lot more settings that you can play around with, such as how harsh it's going to be, the ratio, the threshold, the attack, and also the release, which are settings that the CLA 3.8 does not include. Now, if we take a look at the presets, there are actually a lot. I didn't actually know this, so it's already looking better. Anyways, these are the settings that I have my compressor at. So now let's take a listen to what the stock compressor sounds like.
Kiss it, hug it, text though. Can't tell me you love me over text though. If your man sees that you getting laughed at, TBH, I don't see you as nothing less though. Told me to pull up, I'ma do it if you say so.
And personally, when I compare the two, I do think the fruity compressor does sound better, and just overall, it sounds a lot more clean. Now, when it comes to the looks of it, I gave it a 2.5 out of 5, just because it's pretty basic looking. For the features of it, I gave it a 4 out of 5, just based on how many more settings there are to choose from, and presets as well. And lastly, for the quality and the sound of the compressor, I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. Now, for the pros of it, I will say it is an amazing stock compressor, and as I just said, there's way more customization available, and I only have one con for this, and that is that it may be a little more confusing for beginners. But yeah, I don't really have anything that bad to say about it. And when we add this all up, the fruity compressor gets a solid 3.3 out of 5, which means fruity compressor wins. But if you guys want the Waves compressor, the link is in the description. But once again, let's move on to the final comparison. Now we're going to be looking at noise gates and sound suppressors. For the paid plugin, we are going to be looking at the Waves NS1 noise suppressor. And when we open it up, as you guys can see, it's pretty boring looking. And there's only one knob, and that just dictates how much noise you actually take out. And as far as presets go, there is nothing. This knob is all you get. So let's go ahead and take a listen to what the Waves noise suppressor sounds like.
Told me to pull up, I'ma do it if you say so. To be honest, don't want nothing but the sex though. You said you hate me, but you're too afraid to let go. Told me to pull up, I'ma do it if you say so.
Now, when we listen to that, we can tell it definitely took out any background noise that got into my mic when I was recording vocals. So yeah, it did what it's supposed to do, but let's take a look at the ratings for it. For the looks of the NS1, I gave it a 2 out of 5. To be fair, it doesn't need to look amazing. It's just a noise suppressor and a noise gate, but yeah, it's pretty boring looking. As far as features go and the capabilities of it, I also gave it a 2 out of 5, just because it's one knob, no presets, nothing. And for the sound and how well it works, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Now, the pros is that it's really easy to use, and it definitely does the job. And the cons is just the limited features, and to be honest, it almost muffles my vocals. And lastly, I think it's a little overpriced for what it is. Like, it's just a noise gate. Like, you don't need to charge me like $40 for it. So overall, the paid plugin comes out to a 2.3 out of 5. All right, so let's go ahead and get rid of that garbage, and let's open up the free plugin that comes with FL. Now, in my opinion, this plugin is pretty fucking goated, and that is the noise gate that is included with the fruity limiter. Now, as you guys can see here, it's right here, and there's more settings to choose from, and it's honestly way better. So all we're gonna do is turn this threshold up, turn the gain down, and turn the release down, and there we go. Obviously, this is a limiter, so you can always turn your gain down and the seal as well. And if we open up the presets, you can actually choose a noise gate preset right here. So let's go ahead and listen to what the free noise gate sounds like on our vocals.
Told me to pull up, I'ma do it if you say so. To be honest, don't want nothing but the sex though. You said you hate me, but you're too afraid to let go. Told me to pull up, I'ma do it if you say so.
So yeah, if you guys couldn't tell, it sounds a lot cleaner than the NS1. Now, as far as the looks go for this, I gave it a 3 out of 5. As far as features go, I also gave it a 3 out of 5. And for the sound of it, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. Just because it doesn't muffle your vocals, it does what it's supposed to do, and it takes out noise in the dead spots of your recordings, not the entire thing. For the pros of this, it's super easy to use. Again, it sounds really good, and it does not muffle your recording. The only con I have for it, you do kind of have to find a sweet spot to make it sound like perfect, because if it's too much, it might take out some of those quieter vocals, and if it's low enough, it'll still pick up certain background noises. So overall, the Fruity Limiter Noise Gate gets a 3.5 out of 5, which means in the final comparison, the stock plugin wins. But yeah, guys, that is going to wrap up today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, it's something I wanted to do, is test just free plugins versus paid plugins. And if you've been wondering the same thing, hopefully this video helped you out a little bit. But again, this is just my opinion, so do what you will. And I will say it was pretty fun putting some of these plugins head to head. But if you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you and thank you so much for watching. I'm trying to hit 5,000 subscribers by the new year, so help me get there. Make sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, comment what you guys want to see next. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.